great opponent coming in with a lot to play for. Got a lot of respect for the coaches there at South Dakota. Coach Nielsen does a great job no matter where he's at, so it's going to be a team that comes in here prepared and, have our work cut out for us again. Obviously, we're a team, searching for a win right now, and but I like where we're at. I mean, we're competing hard. I think we've gotten better each week at certain things that we need to get better at. It hasn't translated into wins yet, but we got 3 more games to go, and we're excited about the opportunity to come back out here at home and keep getting better as a program.
How similar is the offense and defense that they're running at South Dakota to what Nielsen was running at Western?
A lot of similarities, same coordinators, on both sides. I'd say, offensively they have a different style of quarterback with Strevler. And we, obviously with all the Minnesota ties we have, know Strevler pretty well. And so heck of a player, athlete, big kid, strong, can run it really, really well. And obviously he's proven to throw the ball well a lot this season, especially down the field in big chunk plays. So they do a great job. Same thing on offense. Their staff that's going to get their team, no matter, what players they have, they're going to put them in the best positions, do a really good job of creating offense. So same coordinators, different quarterback, I would say is the biggest difference.
What would Strevler and Ethan throw you? How do you guys continue defensively?
I think just, you got to be sound. You got to tackle well. That's the thing when you watch him. A lot of his big runs, he'll run through you, just not being good tacklers. I mean, you got to bring some punch to the party when you're going to tackle him. I mean, he's a big kid, big, strong, physical kid. Runs similar to like Mark did last year for us, where he'd run through you. But he's also a really, really fast kid. So got to tackle well, and we got to be assignment sharp as soon as you're not in the right spot, the right time. I mean, he can take it, the distance on you. So, and then again, you can't just load the box, every single play and think that, he's one-dimensional, because he's proven that throughout the season that he can throw the ball down the field and make you pay if you want to do that.
Speaking of throwing the ball, they have 9 touchdowns, I think that's 41 yards or more. What stands out about their big play ability?
I think that, teams get caught up in wanting to stop him from running the football and, getting an extra guy in there. As a defense, you're always trying to get +1 on any run play or anything, but when you run the quarterback, that's what you do as an offense. You feel like you can get, the numbers in running the ball because you got an extra blocker. And then you try to get more people down there. That forces you to play man coverage. And then he's been throwing some good balls with big plays. So the threat of him running, has opened things up down the field.
Speaking of Simon Sharp, when they had the punt return last weekend, was that the fault of the guy that's supposed to keep his I guess it would be called contained downfield, or what did he see that he didn't do that?
Yeah, it was a little. I mean, it was just not a great punt to start it, but it was still a punt that we could have covered. I think when it bounced twice, a couple of our players, relaxed and didn't think that he was going to return the ball. And then, on video, that made us pay. We were out of our lanes, too much room for a great returner like that to have space, and we were out of our lanes.
It didn't look like anybody was on that side.
Yeah, well, we got everybody pinned to one side, and then they set up a field return, so they pin you. So they did a good job, and we didn't execute.
What do you think has to get better about your pass rush right now?
Well, I mean, there's certain things that, you're not going to change overnight. Those guys are playing hard, and they're, they've got to win one-on-one. At any time in football, you got to win some one-on-one matchups, whether it's, defensive linemen, winning a pass rush one-on-one, or if it's a a running back in the hole, got to make somebody miss, or if it's a DB guarding a guy one-on-one in the secondary. I mean, at some point in the game, you're going to have to win one-on-one matchups, and that's usually when when good teams have a lot of good players that can win one-on-one matchups. Excuse me. So we got to get better at that. We can, pressure-wise, we brought a couple things that they picked up. We weren't able to get home on that. Got some pressure a couple times on them, but we just got to continue to get better, individually. I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to is we got to win some pass rushes.
They have their receiving core is kind of by committee. Where they had 88, Van Ruppel, I think he'd been injured for a while and came back last week and had a good game. What does he bring to the mix as far as those guys go?
I think that it's they've got a lot of capable guys out there, just similar to us that rotate a lot of guys, play a lot of guys. They do a good job. So I think that it's where sometimes you play some teams in this league that have a standout guy as far as wide receiver. There's been several of them that have caught deep balls and done some good things. So we got to be ready for them all to play well. And coming off a game that we've given up a couple deep passes, I mean, they're going to throw the ball deep. They have in every single game, and he's going to take some shots down the field. That's just what they've been doing. So we got to be good in that aspect as far as again, playing man-to-man defense down the field or whatever it is, even if it's in zone. But for them to throw the ball down the field on us.
Do you think this style is putting too much pressure on your defense?
What do you?
The offense that you run.
I don't think so. I mean, I think that when you watch us, I mean, we're under center quite a bit. We're running A-gap power, we're running regular power, we're running zone. We run the ball quite a just traditional offense, probably more so the last 4 weeks than we ever have. So, if especially last week, I mean, it wasn't a bunch of, I think we ran 70-some plays. They ran more plays than us. So, but yeah, I mean, anytime you go up tempo and don't huddle, your defense is going to play more snaps. You've always known that. So, what you got to do as an offense, so you got to score more points, get more tries. And so, we talked about it after the game. We went on, 4 scoring drives, probably needed 5 or 6. Now, obviously, that's what it proved to be. So, but yeah, we've got to be better at controlling the ball. I wouldn't say, it's more, you just can't have that many 3-and-outs in critical situations and put your defense right back out there.
But after the game, I know it was after the game, but you said 28 points. We had to have more than that. I mean, in this league, can you expect to score 35 points a game, even in this league, even with your offense? I mean, is that a realistic?
Well, I mean, I think that, yeah. I mean, when you go back, that's our expectation. There was definitely opportunities there that it wasn't, to put more points on the board. Now you got to give the other teams credit. In our league, it's not easy. We're playing a lot of really good football teams. And that's proven week in and week out. You get tested against the best, teams, best coaches, all that kind of stuff. So it's not, we got to win games where we don't score 35 points. That's for sure. It's kind of been that way this season. If we would have scored 24 or 25, the week before against Indiana State, that would have been enough. I think more so after the game, I'm talking about whatever the game calls for, we've got to be able to do that to win. Whether it's a shootout and it still comes down to the fourth quarter, it's still going to come down to, a drive or making those plays in critical situations, whether it's, 17-14 and you got to go make a drive as an offense to get one more score, or if it's 38-35 and you got to go get one more score. It still comes down to those critical situations in the fourth quarter, going on certain drives that we really haven't done a good enough job in those critical situations as an offense.
They've had a number of close wins. In games where they've gotten up big and then, the opponents come back on them, and so they've been able to
Yeah, they've kind of been in a couple, different. Like last week it was a heartbreaker for them, close game. They've had a couple early in the season, North Dakota, and then they've also won some close games, overtime game against Indiana State. So it's really the whole league. Every team we've played this year has had a number of close wins, close losses. So they're used to playing in close games. They've came back on teams. Weber State, they came back when they were down, and then they've also lost some leads. So I think that, and they have a great, experienced coach. So they're going to be ready for any situation. They're going to be ready going on the road. They're going to be ready if whether we go up by 14 or they're down by 14, expecting, their best game and being prepared. So it's so late in the season. Everybody's played a lot of those type of games, been in a lot of different situations. So, and as well as us, I mean, we've been in a lot of them. We haven't came out on the winning end yet, but the mentality here is we're going to, and so I think it makes your guys grow up a lot when you've played in a lot of close games like this, situational football that they've been able to get into. So it's made a lot of our young players, better, knowing situations and playing, a lot of games with meaningful, possessions every single week, every single snap, all the way to the fourth quarter, which is a good thing. Obviously we've won and win some of these games. We don't feel like we're a 2-6 team, but we are. And but we've gotten better. A lot of individuals have continued to get better each week and putting a lot of good things out there. So we just got to stick to the plan and keep going. And we're excited and ready to go for this week.
Their kicker leads the nation in punting, and I know you missed that field goal late in the game against Western, but I mean he's been really accurate this season. What kind of weapon is he for their team?
Well, you don't see a guy a lot of times do all three, and he does all three, which is pretty rare, these days. But so he's a talented kid, kickoff, punt, kicking field goals. So yeah, your specialists are such a key weapon that if you've got great specialists, you're on the road to having a great team. I mean, punting the ball, flipping the field position. You think of all these close games that these teams, our league plays in every week. You look around, only one game decided by more than 4 points, and we've not played in a game in over a month that hasn't been decided by one possession. Is it always goes back to special teams can be the difference in 3-4 a touchdown. We found that out last week. Or whether it's can you completely flip the field on a punt, or are you going to keep giving them the ball at midfield? Can you get a 55-yard net punt and make them get 3 more first downs than kicking one for 33 yards? All those little things are the difference in being really good, and the same thing with field goals and trusting. They trust that guy to go out there and make them from a long distance. So he's a huge weapon, and especially when it comes down to close games, your specialists are huge. Some of it, there's a lot of factors that go into when you lose games by one possession or less. So we gotta the one thing around here is everybody holds themselves accountable. I haven't seen one person point the finger at somebody else, not even with the players. I mean, we pretty much squash that. I stand in front of them. I got to be a better coach. Our assistants have to be better. I think that's the key is when they come in, it's everybody together. We're all going to get better. But yeah, when you play a lot of young guys, the experience comes in. I mean, when you see a lot of championship teams, it's usually when your junior and senior class are your biggest and your leaders that have played a lot of football games, and usually translates there. But we do have some older players that are playing well for us. But we do, the majority of our players right now, whenever you look out there, are freshmen and sophomores. So we just got to keep playing, and we got to, there's no looking past, and we got 3 games to go. Our expectations to win them all and get better with each practice and get better with each game, and that's how we're going to get better going forward, not only this year but for the future.
Assuming Daquan practices well this week, will he play Saturday?
Right now, I wouldn't expect Daquan to play. There's expectations around here that we got to hold each other accountable. You've got to be either you're all in or you're not. And Daquan's been hurt, but when you don't practice, you're not going to get out there. Everybody here, including myself, loves Daquan Isom. I mean, he's not been in trouble. He's not done anything. He's just, hasn't been out on the practice field. Still not 100% healthy. But right now we got to move forward with the guys that are here every single day doing the right things and, out there. And Cam Walter's done a great job. I mean, I've said this before, but, without Cam this season, I don't know where we'd be, as far as our run game, especially the last 3 weeks. And that's a guy that a lot of things didn't go his way all spring ball, summertime, fall camp. You're 4th on the depth chart. You've got 0 runs. I don't know, probably the first 5 weeks or something like that. I don't know if you got to carry maybe late in a couple of those games that we won. But here he is now, it's not like we're just putting out a guy that's not doing some good things. I mean, Cam's, a lot of his yards are after contact, 2, 3, 4 extra yards, doing a really good job. And then I thought Mixon came in and did a good job again, kind of being that big back and moving the pile. So we feel good with where we're at, but our running back room will probably look a lot the same than it was last week.
With you guys using so many young players and like players shouldering a lot of the responsibility, are you seeing some of those guys mature and adjust to the college game maybe a bit quicker than they would have been without each other?
Yeah, just because you get to play, then, after you play for a while, that's the only way you're going to get out there and mature and get better is playing in games. So, the more they play, the more they're going to see things, the more they're going to get better. Even for some of our guys, I mean, Jefferson Villa, we think about him, he's been, played a while. He's only a sophomore. This is, he's played for a year and a half. He played last year as a freshman. But I thought he played one of his best games, too. Obviously, he got his first interception. Even the one that Craig James returned for a touchdown, he sees that play before it happens, and he drives on the ball, and he could have picked that off. He tipped it, and then the other person tipped it, and then Craig got it. But a lot of guys, have, you've seen kind of that switch starting to be flipped a little bit as far as being experienced in the right place, the right time, making the right checks, the game kind of slowing down for them. So we still have some guys that need to get there, but each week more and more guys are getting there.
When you watch their defense, what stands out to you when you watch it? What's the best unit?
They do a good job, really, just all around playing great defense, just team defense. A lot of the defenses in our league are similar. 4 down front, 4-3, 4-2. When you spread them out, but they're in the right spots. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They're not a heavy pressure team. They're going to make you earn it. Play some cover 2, mix up their coverages, and just don't give things away. So I wouldn't say just one specific group on their defense. I just think they're coached really well, and they do a good job of being in the right spots and then letting their players make plays. Similar to a lot of the defenses in our league. Each week you see a lot of the same coverages. You see a lot of the same fronts. Same thing that our philosophy on defense. It's not to trick you. You're going to line up and play good fundamental defense, and it's going to win you a lot of games whenever you get it right and you put good players in those positions to make plays. So it's a good defense that's just he plays good fundamental football.
You mentioned there's no finger pointing going on. The team's still really together. For the guys that have been here a while and
Yeah, definitely. Heck, I want those guys to win, not for me to stand up here and get a win. I mean, I know what it's like for those guys. I could run down all the seniors that have been playing, not only them, the whole team. That's what's frustrating as a coach, first year coach, is I know the effort that they're given. I know what the effort they gave on Saturday, and I've stood up here before and talked about how you work all week and then it hurts when you can't, get a win, and you can't enjoy a win in, a little over a month. And those guys, so I want it for those guys. They deserve a win. I wouldn't say that if they weren't up here, busting their tails, and we had guys and it was like, hey, it's going to be a while until we have to recruit a bunch of new guys. Now we got to get better in a lot of areas. Our players got to keep getting better, but they're playing hard, and I know today when they show up here and we go out there to practice, it's going to be a focused group, and it's a staff that's coaching their tails off too. So yeah, I mean, I want them to feel that, and that's why I said we got 3 weeks left. With 6 losses, you're probably not going to the postseason. But we can all go out here and enjoy the game that we love playing and coaching, and you get a chance to play it. As a senior, you don't get too many more of them, so you better go out there and do it the right way, and that's what these guys will do. So, and they're hungry to get a win. Obviously, you're so close. You want to know, you want to feel that other side of it, and that's that's the plan, and that's what we're going to keep working this week to get at.
What do you tell your players going into this weekend of a heartbreaking loss? What's the silver lining to the season so far, if there is one?
I mean, we just you keep playing. We've talked about it over and over and over again about you show up to work every single day. That's those seniors next year, when they're out there in the real world, it's going to be the same thing, whether you're in the business world or you're teaching or whatever. Bad days, bad weeks, or whatever, nobody cares. You know what I mean? That alarm goes off, you better get up, and you better go to work, you better keep working, and then you get a family, and they rely on you. You can't quit. You can't sit at home all day and take a day off. Your kids start to rely on you, your wife. So, I think that we just rely back on what this program, what we started, however long ago, in December, and then, it takes a while, but that's the message of the whole program is, learning how to just be a man and go about life. And the same thing here, we're playing a game, and it's a privilege to be a Saluki football player, and we're going to show up to work, and we're going to go out there and put a good product on the field and play hard. It definitely not went the way that we want it to go, but that's in the past now. I mean, we're not going to change, where we're at. We have an opportunity to, whatever that is this week, to change the outcome of this week by playing hard, practicing hard, and I told the seniors, we talk about, what in the fall camp, one of our things was kind of what your legacy is going to be here. And each senior got up and made a talk, and, obviously their goals to play in the postseason and things like that. But ultimately, your goal is to leave your jersey, your number in a better place than it was before. So that's still intact. The seniors, these freshmen in the room, even if they're red shirts, they're going to remember how Billy Reed practices the last 3 weeks. Did he go out there and kind of go through the motions, or did he play, because it was an honor to be here and play hard and go out there and get a win no matter what your record is or whatever. Same thing, Chase Allen, TJ Beeling, Kyle Newquist, all those guys. And, even though the last couple years, haven't went the way they wanted to go, I mean, I'm proud of the way that they go out there and compete, and I'm proud that they're Salukis, and they're going to keep doing that the last 3 weeks of their career, I guarantee you.
Can you talk about Josh's year, maybe real quick? Just, obviously it's not going to end the way he wanted it, but he's had some drops. He's been very efficient. Didn't turn the ball over last weekend, and he's approaching the yardage record this year.
Yeah, I mean, Josh has been just done a great job. You come in here with only a year not even really, you're not even going to be here an entire year on campus. He came here. You know, we didn't guarantee him anything. He's done, you know, everybody knows his story by now. Just worked hard. Number one, he's a great kid that fit into what we're trying to build. And he's done a good job. You know, he's had plays that, you know, he wants back along with everybody else, but it's definitely not on Josh Strong, that's for sure. You know, he's put us in position that we wouldn't be in, you know, to make some of those plays. He's done a really good job. And, you know, he's just been good for the whole quarterback room. He's been fun to coach. Same thing, I mean, quarterback-wise, Sam's got to be ready to go too, you know, and then, you know, Matt's done a good job of coming in there and running the football and doing some different things too. So it definitely, you know, we talk about it all the time. For a quarterback, your number one stat is wins and losses. You know, that's I talked to Mark last year about it. You know, that's the crazy thing is nobody really remembers how many yards you pass for, you know, or how many touchdowns. Those are good things that you can talk to your kids about and stuff like that. But ultimately, as a quarterback, and you know it when you sign up for it, he knows it too. You know, we would take, you know, half the yards or half the touchdowns or whatever it is to get some wins. So ultimately, as a quarterback, that's your job, and that's what we're searching for is those wins.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, appreciate it.